So you want to learn all about Photoshop. In this beginner's course, we will cover the toolbar, the layers panel, typography, and color theory, just to name a few. My name is Ashley, and I've been designing professionally for 11 years. If you're interested in other design tutorials, check out my other channel called Night Owl Design Academy, where you can find tutorials like this Venom text effect or learn cool photo manipulation techniques. Before we begin, special thanks to this comment for the recommendation. Along with this Photoshop course video, I've prepared a comprehensive written guide available for download on my Gumroad account. This invaluable resource includes design assets for my exercises and tutorials. Don't miss out on these tools to enhance your learning experience. The link is in the description. Before we dive into the toolbar, let's take a moment to overview your workspace and preference settings. To customize your workspace, click the workspace icon located in the top right corner. This is useful if you're missing a panel or having trouble locating it. The workspace I use most often is called Essentials, and I will be using it throughout this course. You can rearrange the panels according to your preference and then save your setup as a new workspace for future use. Additionally, you can go to the window menu to select different panels. When you open Photoshop for the first time, you may notice that items are automatically selected when you click on the canvas. To disable this feature, uncheck the Auto Select option in the top left corner. If you want to remove bounding boxes, also uncheck Show Transform Controls. The gear icon to the right offers additional options you can select from. I have chosen to uncheck the Show Hover Bounds from Layers option. To access the Preferences box in Photoshop, go to Photoshop, Settings, General. In this box, you can modify various settings, including the appearance of the user interface, units and rulers, tools, and much more. One important adjustment is increasing the size of the user interface. To do this, navigate to the Interface section. Change the UI font size to large and ensure that Scale UI to Font is checked. Remember that you will need to restart Photoshop for these changes to take effect. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time to make these adjustments. If you make a change and are unsure how to undo it, go to the General tab and select Reset Preferences on Quit. Over to the left, we have the toolbar. We'll start off with the Move tool. As you can see next to the tool tip, you will see a letter next to the name. Use these as keyboard shortcuts to select the tool you want to use. In the case of the Move tool, I will select the letter V on my keyboard. The Move tool is self-explanatory. It moves objects around the canvas. If you want to learn more about each tool, you can hover over the tool and watch a quick video on how it functions and its use. If you don't see these tips when you try to hover, you can go back to the Preferences panel and click on Tools and select Show Rich Tooltips. Next, we have the Rectangular Marquee tool, which creates a selection in the shape of a rectangle. This tool is excellent for applying color or graphics to specific areas. The Magnetic Lasso tool is similar to the Rectangular Marquee tool, but it offers more control over your selections. It snaps to the edges of images as you move your mouse. I often use this tool when I want to make a selection or remove a person from an image. This method was commonly used before the introduction of the Select Subject feature, which we will cover later. Another similar tool is the Magic Wand, which is excellent for selecting solid color backgrounds. The Crop tool allows you to cut or expand your canvas. I use this tool to remove unwanted background objects or to extend the crop to include more space for better image balance. If you want to place images in specific sections, use the Frame tool. Select the Frame tool, and after placing it, drag and drop any image into its designated area. This is useful for creating mockups or serving as general placeholders. The Eyedropper tool allows users to easily select colors from images with a single mouse click. Use the Spot Healing Brush tool to remove blemishes and marks. This tool is excellent for photographers who want to eliminate unsightly scars to enhance their photos. The Brush tool allows you to create various elements, including painterly strokes, clouds, and lens flares. To enhance your designs, you can upload and add different brushes in the Brush panel. Access this panel by going to Window, Brushes, where you'll find various settings that you can customize for your brushes. Personally, I enjoy using the paintbrush to add grunge textures to my designs, modify and Photoshop different hairstyles, and incorporate clouds into my photo manipulations. The Clone Stamp tool replicates pixels from another part of the image. This is an effective option for removing unwanted objects from a scene. The History Brush tool allows you to restore previous changes to your designs, helping to correct mistakes. The History panel functions similarly. To open the History panel, if it's not already visible, select Window, then History. To achieve a transparent background, grab the Eraser tool and remove any unwanted areas. This powerful feature allows you to effortlessly fill selections and layers with your chosen foreground color, transforming your artwork in an instant with the Paint Bucket tool. The Blur tool does exactly what its name suggests. It blurs part of your image. You can also create the same effect using a filter, which we will discuss later in the course. Use the adjustment brush to apply different effects to specific areas of your image. You can choose effects ranging from black and white to brightness and contrast. The brush icon with a minus sign subtracts effects from the image, while the icon with a plus sign adds the effects. The Dodge tool brightens areas of your image. This is useful for photo editing, like removing shadows from a person's face. The Pen tool provides precise selections of objects and people using paths, points, and handles. It's my preferred tool when the Select Subject feature fails to select the area that I need. The Type tool lets you choose fonts and adjust text, size, and weight. The Character panel offers options such as vertical scale, tracking, and baseline shift. Utilize the Direct Selection tool to modify points on shapes and paths. In this example, I traced the flower using the Pen tool. Grab the Direct Selection tool to precisely adjust the points to better conform to the flower's shape. The Rectangle tool is more than just drawing rectangle shapes. You can use this tool to create smart objects and then apply filters and effects to your images. A simple way to do this is by drawing a rectangle, then right-clicking, Convert to Smart Object. Double-click the thumbnail and paste in your image. File Save this new window, and now you're free to apply effects. The Hand tool lets you pen over your image. You might be thinking, well, isn't the Hand tool the same as the Move tool? It's not. The Move tool moves layers within the canvas area, but the Hand tool shifts the entire document. Having trouble seeing a part of your document? Use the Zoom tool to zoom in on your image. If you don't like the arrangement of the toolbar, you can right-click the three dots here and arrange the tools to your liking. Near the bottom of the bar is the foreground and background colors. I use this a lot for layer masking. Keep your foreground black to erase, and white will add it back. Quick Mask allows you to select an area using a color overlay. I use this for scenics where I need to apply adjustment layers. When you double click, you can customize your options like changing the overlay color. Select the area you want to change and make a selection. Apply adjustment layers or mask. Change the screen mode from standard, full screen mode with menu bar, and full screen. Access different modes by right-clicking on the tool with the small arrow in the corner, which reveals all the options. You can do this with the rest of the tools in the toolbar as well. Our last feature in the toolbar is Generative AI, which we will cover more in depth later on in this course. Generative AI allows you to make images from simple prompts. That's a general overview of the toolbar. Let's dive into layers and all of its features. The most important feature of Photoshop, I would say, is the Layers panel. Understanding how to effectively use layers is crucial. In this section, I will cover blend modes, layer mask, adjustment layers, layer styles, and filters. Blend modes are an excellent way to enhance images and create visual effects. I have used blend modes to increase saturation with vivid light and to mesh textures using multiply or overlay. In Photoshop, you can see a live preview of the various blend modes by hovering over each option before applying it. To use a blend mode, simply select the layer you want to modify and choose the desired blend mode from the drop-down menu. Layer masks are an excellent way to modify images without permanently deleting any parts of a layer. To use a layer mask, select the layer you want to mask and click the circle inside the rectangle icon. Then, use the brush tool to hide parts of the image as needed. Adjustment layers enable you to experiment with various tonal and color adjustments without permanently altering the pixels of an image. When you select an adjustment layer, it will impact all the layers beneath it. If you want the adjustments to apply only to a specific layer, you can right-click on the adjustment layer and choose Create Clipping Mask. In this tutorial, follow along as I teach you how to turn a photo from day to night using adjustment layers, blend modes, and layer mask. Open up the landscape image. Save your image as a PSD file. Add a hue and saturation adjustment layer. Change hue to -23, saturation will be -43, and lightness will be -45. Add a color balance adjustment layer and change the yellow and blue bar to 52. Now activate the quick mask mode, and over in the left corner we are going to highlight this mountain range. Decrease the hardness of your brush. Now click on the quick mask mode again to create a selection from the highlighted red area. Then go to select inverse to invert the selection. Now we're going to add a brightness and contrast adjustment layer. Change the brightness to -112 and contrast to 36. Make a selection from the brightness and contrast layer by pressing Command and clicking the layer mask thumbnail. And add a photo filter adjustment layer. Change the color to 06 7E F9. Change the density to 100%. Change the blend mode of this layer to darken. Go to Select Sky. Add a gradient map adjustment layer. Click the gradient bar in the Properties panel and make sure that you're using black to white, and make sure you're using the black to white gradient under Basics. Make a selection from the gradient map layer by pressing Command and clicking the layer mask thumbnail. Add a gradient fill adjustment layer. Change the gradient to 04122D. And then your second color stop will be 55A1FF. And make sure you reverse these gradient colors in the Properties panel. Decrease the opacity of this layer to about 88%. You may want to tweak it some more depending on your liking. In the final step, we will mute the colors just a bit by applying a vibrance adjustment layer. Change the vibrance to 29 and saturation will be -25. And that is how you turn a daytime photo into night using adjustment layers. Linking allows you to move multiple layers at once. Select the layers you want to link together, and when you select one and move it, the others will follow. Layer styles let you add effects to your layers without permanently changing them. Choose from various options like drop shadows, gradient overlays, and bevel and emboss effects. I frequently use layer styles for creating text effects and mockups. Filters enable you to enhance images through various techniques, such as sharpening, blurring backgrounds, or applying halftones. You can add visual effects to your designs by using the filters available in the filter gallery. If you're short on time and need to quickly mask images, the Select Subject feature is effective for selecting people and objects in photos. It's very useful when removing individuals from backgrounds or other elements. Do you have a type? Well, not that kind of type. This section is all about typography, hierarchy, type pairings, and text effects. Before we dive into this section, what exactly is typography? Typography involves the arrangement and styling of text, including spacing, point sizes, and typefaces, to create a visually appealing result. One important aspect of typography is establishing hierarchies. The best designers have a deep understanding of how to effectively use this visual organization. Type hierarchies convey a message and help guide the reader to what's most important, creating a smooth flow of information. Think of it like a burger. The top bun represents your headline, followed by the tomatoes and cheese, which serves as your subtitle or subheader. Next comes the hamburger patty, which contains the body copy, the main content of your design. After the patty, you have the onions and lettuce, which can act as another subheader. Finally, the burger is completed with another bun, where you typically place your call to action. By keeping this hamburger method in mind, you can take your designs from dull to captivating. Fonts are categorized as serif, sans serif, slab serif, script, and decorative. In this section, I'll introduce some font couples that are madly in love and others that are headed for Splitsville that you definitely want to avoid at all costs. Welcome to What's Your Type, the dating show where typography meets romance. First up, we have serif and sans serif. This is our classic couple that has stood the test of time. Picture a sophisticated serif font like Garamond with its elegant traditional vibes, matched with a simple, modern font like Proxima Nova. These fonts are perfect for business publications, luxury brands, and stationery. Together, they balance each other out and create a harmonious look for any project. Next, let's meet our adventurous duo, sans serif and script. Now you may notice a pattern here with sans serif, so just consider sans serif as being poly because it goes with everything. Okay, back to the topic at hand. Imagine the romantic curves of Ducky with the charm of Avnir. This pairing is all about flair and grabbing attention. So think wedding invites, beauty, and clothing brands. Now we have a trendy head-turning couple, slab serif and sans serif, but not just any sans serif. Meet sans serif extended. Here we have the striking allure of Quattro Slab with the strong, bold presence of Transducer Extended. These fonts are perfect for gaming, bold advertisements, and sports. Lastly, let's spotlight the edgy duo, Decorative and sans serif. Think Brewski meaning Gibson. Brewski's extroverted, textured nature pairs smoothly with sans serif's introverted, calm demeanor. This pairing is excellent for themed events, movie posters, and logos. Depending on the subject matter, I like to use bold, legible fonts like Good Headline or Adele. The heavier the weight, the better. This also rings true for specialty printing like embroidery. Steer clear of thin and decorative fonts. Before we wrap up this section, I couldn't talk about fonts without mentioning the toxic couple who always argues in public, Comic Sans and Papyrus. Please avoid them at all costs, whether they're together or apart. Let's do a simple exercise on type hierarchy and font pairings. In the course guide, you will find a brief. Arrange the text in a way that showcases both the type pairings and hierarchy. Feel free to pause the video if necessary, and then return here to see a time lapse of my design. If you've ever encountered the frustrating phrase, make it pop, then you know that text effects are essential. I primarily use a combination of layer styles and filters to achieve my desired text effects. You might wonder where I get my inspiration for these effects. Often, though, it's a happy accident, like my honestly never mind text effect. Experimenting with random effects and layer styles has led to some impressive results. If I experience creator's block, I usually browse design websites like Dribbble and Behance for some inspiration. Warping your text is an excellent way to add dimension and make it pop. There are several options available for text warping, including effects like arc lower, which curves the text downward, flag, which creates a wavy effect, and twist, which distorts the letters for a dynamic look. I find that using text warp is particularly effective in projects where text is the main focus, as it helps to create a more engaging and eye-catching design. By experimenting with these options, you can find the perfect style that complements your overall design concept. Grab your mouse and let's create a beginner-friendly text effect. Create a new document that is 3000 by 2000, resolution 300, and RGB color mode. Add a color fill adjustment layer using the color 061836. Using the type tool, type out Panther. Change your font size to 130. The color that I'm using for my text is 424241. Double-click this layer and add a bevel and emboss layer style. Enter bevel for the style, chisel hard for the technique, depth will be 396, size will be 13, soften will be 16. For the highlight mode, change it to color dodge and the color will be white. The opacity will be 100%. Shadow mode will be color burn. The color will be 040404. And the opacity will be 91%. Now add a stroke. The size will be 1. Position will be outside. And the color will be 4096A6. Add a satin layer style. Blend mode will be multiply and the color will be 211E1F. The opacity will be 91. Distance will be 50. Size will be 79. And contour will be the fourth one in the first row. Add a gradient overlay. The opacity will be 40%. Change the first color stop to 1BE616. And the second color stop will be white. Add a pattern overlay. Change the pattern to the first one under the water section. The scale will be 483. Duplicate this layer, then right-click, Clear Layer Styles. Change the fill to 0%. Double-click this layer and add a bevel and emboss. Change the technique to smooth. Depth will be 1000. Size will be 128 and soften will be 0. Change the contour to the 4th one in the 2nd row. Highlight mode will be hard light and the color will be 859 ABD. Shadow mode will be linear dodge add. Color will be white and the opacity will be 100. Now click on contour and select the first one in the 2nd row and change the range to 50. Click on stroke, change it to 2. Position is inside. Blend mode is vivid light. And the color will be E1E0E0. Add a satin layer style. Blend mode is vivid light. And the color is white. Opacity is 100%. Distance is 33. Size is 57. Contour will be the 2nd one in the 1st row. And make sure invert is unchecked. Finish the design by adding a soft glow and other design elements. You can copy and paste your layer styles by right-clicking and then copy layer style. In the next section, we will cover color theory, the do's and don'ts, and how to choose the right color for your projects. In a world cloaked in shadows and vibrant visions, a daring designer finds themselves at the crossroads of creativity. Will you crack the code of color and unlock the true potential of your design? Color theory refers to the study of how colors interact and relate to one another. This is where the color wheel comes into play. The color wheel serves as a guide for combining and using colors to achieve your desired effects. As graphic designers, we primarily use 2 color modes, CMYK and RGB. RGB is used for digital applications such as websites, while CMYK is reserved for print media. Much of the work I do and how I select my colors revolve around the color wheel and the emotions or feelings I'm trying to convey. Let's dive into this process a bit deeper. Figuring out what colors to use doesn't need to be a mystery. Choosing colors involves considering several factors, such as the background. For instance, if I'm designing for a clothing brand and I know the shirt will be a dark color, I'll select bright colors that stand out and don't blend in. I also take into account the subject of the design and any brand colors that I need to incorporate. When I have the creative freedom to explore, I use a color wheel to find appealing combinations. Additionally, I utilize the eyedropper tool to select colors from any images I plan to include. Some simple rules to remember when selecting colors. Number 1. Remember the emotion or mood you want to convey, as well as the subject matter. Different colors can evoke various emotions. Number 2. Avoid pairing high saturation complementary colors, like blue and orange, or primary colors like red and blue, as this can create a visual vibration that may interfere with legibility. Number 3. When designing for print, remember that screen colors will appear darker when printed. Number 4. To keep things looking clean and put together, stick to a limited color palette. And number 5. Incorporate neutral tones alongside bright colors to achieve a balanced design. Let's practice color selection. Download the exercise and apply colors using the directions given in the brief, or continue watching to see my time lapse. Photo manipulation is the process of altering a photo using various techniques to create a new image. You can transform images such as converting a superhero into a sinister villain, or turning a serene, peaceful cabin into a horrifying slasher movie poster. You can also combine various images to create a brutalist streetwear design. I like to begin my photo manipulations using the pen tool, blend modes, brushes, and adjustment layers. With that being said, in this next exercise, we will create a double exposure photo manipulation effect and get more familiar with the toolbar and adjustment layers. Create a new document that is 7 by 10. Resolution 300 and RGB color mode. Click Create. Open up your model photo. Drag it over into your document. Resize the image by going to Edit, Free Transform, or Command T on your keyboard. Decrease the size to about 49% and rename your layer. Now go to Select Subject and remove the background by creating a layer mask. Add a gradient map adjustment layer. Change the gradient color stops to black and white. Make a selection from the model thumbnail by pressing down Command and clicking the model layer mask. Next, use the pen tool to select the head wrap. Make this selection active by clicking Selection in the top toolbar. In the pop-up, select Intersect with Selection and then click OK. Now add a brightness and contrast adjustment layer. Change the brightness to -50 and contrast to 100. Make a selection from the brightness and contrast thumbnail layer mask. Add a levels adjustment layer. Change the values to 0, 0.27, and 255 on this first row. Open the full moon image and drag it over into your document. Create a selection from the head wrap adjustment layer mask by pressing Command and clicking the thumbnail. Change this layer's blend mode to pin light and resize the moon. Now open up the trees and fog image and drag it over into the document. Resize your image. Create a selection from the model layer mask. With this selection active, add a layer mask to this tree's image. Change this layer to overlay. With the layer mask selected, use a soft brush to mask away the edges around the necklace. Add the flock of birds image to the document. Place all of your layers except for the gradient map and background in a folder. Rename your folder. Add a layer mask to the folder. Use the cloud brushes to mask away the bottom of the portrait. Now to import brushes, you can click on this little hamburger menu, then click on Import Brushes, and then go to your downloads or wherever you save the brushes to add them to the panel. So increase the size and mask away the bottom portion of your portrait. Finish up the design by creating a new layer above the folder and use a cloud brush and add in some clouds using the color C7, C7, C7. We can't talk about the ins and outs of Photoshop without mentioning AI. Powered by Adobe Firefly, Photoshop's AI tool allows you to create, add, remove, and edit images with just a few clicks. But how does this technology function in the creative world? This feature can allow you to remove unwanted objects from scenes, extend backgrounds, and add creative elements to any image. To access the AI features in Photoshop, you have two options. Number one, you can go to Window, then Contextual Toolbar. Number two, to generate an AI image using a prompt, click on the Generate Image icon in the left toolbar. Here, you can input your own prompt. The available options will appear in the Properties panel. If you're not satisfied with the provided options, you can generate new ones again. Let's give this a spin and create a birthday flyer. So here I am clicking on New File, and I will do a 5x7 and clicking on Create. So here in the corner, I am going to generate an image. Type out a zoo theme birthday flyer with a flamingo dressed in a tutu. So I want art, and then here I'm going to click on effects to see what style I would like for my flyer to be. Let's do digital art. And then let's just see what it has with this selected. Okay, not too bad. And here are my other selections over here. But to me, this flamingo, I want it to be more of a mascot. So let's do with a happy flamingo mascot. Let's try that. And let's see it generate some more options. I want my flamingo to be a bit more happier. Maybe I need to do my prompts a bit different. Here we go. I like this. This is much more of what I wanted. This is giving very cutesy, very girly. I like this style. Let's see if we can generate more ideas that looks like this one. So I'm going to select my 3 buttons over here in the corner, and I'm going to generate similar. Okay, I like this. Since I need a little bit more clear space for my copy, I am going to extend my background so I can write all of my copy. So here I'm going to use my rectangular marquee tool and select inverse, and then I'm going to go to Window, Contextual Taskbar, and do Generative Fill. And I'm not even going to put anything down here. I'm just going to click on Generate, and let's see if it can extend my background. Okay, this is a bit interesting. Okay, it's giving a little Disney. Okay, and I'm not mad at it. Okay, I'm actually going to finish wrapping up this design, And in about 5 seconds, you are going to see the final outcome. To use AI or not to use AI is the question. My thoughts around AI is to use it in moderation. Don't become dependent on its features, so much so that you're not able to design without it. The reason is that we have all seen AI generated images and videos on the internet, and they often have a distinct appearance, whether it's the unnatural smooth skin or the presence of 6 fingers on one hand. AI can be unpredictable. The last thing you want is to showcase your design with such flaws. Do you use AI in your designs, and to what extent? Do you think AI will have a lasting impact in the design industry? Let me know in the comments. In this beginner's Photoshop course, we cover various topics, including the toolbar, layers panel, color theory, and typography, among others. I hope you can apply what you've learned today to your design process. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to my 2 YouTube channels, Threaded South and Night Owl Design Academy, and click the notification bell to be alerted when I release a new video. Thank you so much for watching.